John Boyd is here from the Boyd Company. Jennifer Branch is here from the city of Waco. And Samantha Brown is here from Q Branch, a startup company that's working to try to take advantage of some growth opportunities in our state as well. John, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Economic development success is all about connectivity. Okay, connecting all of the economic development assets in a region. Companies today want access to the greatest inventory of real estate, of workforce, of infrastructure, and opportunities for social impact. So that's really where regionalism comes in, and that's great news for Texas, okay, given the state's size, its diversity, its unique linkages to the global marketplace via DFW, the port in Houston, the new Texas Stock Exchange, okay, the global reach and influence of the Dallas Cowboys, and access to trade corridors, okay? Nearshoring is a topic that is continuing to mean high-paying jobs for the state of Texas. So that's how I would talk about regionalism. It's about connectivity, and this great saying, alone we're good, together we're great. Okay, so pulling assets together and promoting them aggressively to site-seeking companies.
Good insight, John. Jennifer Branch is here from the city of Waco. And for those of you who might not know, Waco's dead in the heart of our state. It's undergoing unprecedented growth now. Tell us about all the good things that are going on in Waco.
Thank you, Carlton.
You bet. You're welcome.
It's great to be here. Jennifer Branch, I'm with the city of Waco, and as Carlton mentioned, we are seeing unprecedented growth right now. I think that's all over Texas, but we are right in the middle of the Texas Triangle. I think what makes Waco attractive is its location on the I-35 corridor, right between Dallas and Austin, but also our cost of living. The infrastructure is built out, and it takes 15 minutes to travel 15 miles. So that's pretty attractive. We have a $2 billion downtown redevelopment project that is under works right now. We're excited about that. We're anticipating some vertical buildings going up. Industry, it's been phenomenal. We have top out at 4.2 million visitors a year, thanks to our friends at Magnolia. They moved their headquarters into downtown. We have a Tier 1 research facility with Baylor University. Our partnership with them is just unprecedented as well. They're continuing to grow. We just opened up Foster Pavilion on the river. Industries are booming. We have a huge network of partners that we work with, and that's something that you had mentioned, John, about how important it is, networking and partnerships and collaboration. So we're just blessed to be where we're at and to have the partners that we have and to work with you all at TEDC and everybody else in the great state of Texas.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it. Samantha Brown is here from Q Branch in Austin, Texas. Sam, good to be with you. Tell us about your company and about what you all do and how you all are participating in the state's growth.
Absolutely. Thank you, Carlton. So Q Branch really came out of a need in addressing a gap. We believe that Texas is the perfect place for innovation to grow, and innovation comes from everywhere. So we really focus on soft landing international scaling companies into the U.S. through Texas. So kind of the companies who aren't quite ready for either of you yet, but maybe they've already been accelerated. Where are they going, and how do we make sure that they have a fantastic positive experience in Texas so they can grow in Texas and employ our grandkids? So I always like to say we're helping build the long lead pipeline for economic developers in a state where regionalism really matters. And where in the mini regions of Texas, whether it be 5 or 12, depending which map you look at, there is a market for everything here. And if you can prove your technology or your product in Texas, you have just secured your entire U.S. market entry.
John, as a site location consultant, what kinds of companies, what kind of sectors do you see as sort of the next phase of opportunities in the state of Texas?
Clearly more banking and finance. Okay, the Texas Stock Exchange is going to be a game changer. Okay, we talk about the new Wall Street North. Okay,
Y'all Street.
Right? Y'all Street here. Concentrations of wealth, the business-friendly tort system, aerospace, the space industry. Every part of our economy relies on securing information on satellites in outer space. Texas, a leader in that. Energy with hydrogen is going to be a generator of high-paying jobs, particularly along the SH130 corridor, where our firm is especially active. So I would identify those as key drivers, and also artificial intelligence. Austin, a leader in getting a lot of venture capital money out of the Bay Area. That's another front that I think will yield exciting things in the months and years ahead.
Jennifer, kind of the same question. I know that for a long time the Waco area has been hot for logistics types of operations, just given your location, as you mentioned, in the Texas Triangle. But y'all have been doing a lot of other things as well, and it's not just Magnolia driving a lot of investment. It's nice to have them.
Sure.
But tell me about some of y'all's target industries and where you see success occurring in the Waco region.
Yeah, sure. I think that having access to 42,000 college students in Waco definitely gives us a heads up, because we have Texas State Technical College has their flag campus in Waco. Of course, I mentioned Baylor. We've got MCC. We have a couple of other Texas Tech and Tarleton have campuses at MCC. So we have the talent there, and that's one of the drivers for site selectors and site consultants, is figuring out where that talent is. We do have the talent there. We're seeing, like you said, a lot of logistics, more announcements to come on that. Manufacturing, here at the conference, we have Mars with us, so food manufacturing is really big there. If you've had a Snickers or a Starburst, it was probably made in Waco. That's interesting and fun. You can make chocolate. But yeah, no, we see lots of logistics, manufacturing, as you mentioned, banking. It's completely diverse, honestly, in the city of Waco. There's just not one targeted sector that we have. Aerospace, SpaceX, L3 Harris. We have about 44 different aerospace-related companies now in Waco. That's a growing sector for us.
Sam, tell us a little bit more about Q Branch and how you might work with Jennifer, or how you might work with the hundreds of other economic development organizations in the state.
Thank you. This is a great question.
That was a lob serve, wasn't it?
It really, that was. Thank you. That tennis ball came beautifully. A big part of it is, first and foremost, when we're out meeting with companies, recruiting them, if they're not big enough and they don't reach economic development minimums, I always say just send them to me. You've got a great toddler there. I'm going to get him to I'm going to try to get him to a teenager and send them back to you. So that's number one, is send me your no's. Let's see if we can make them a yes. Let's see if we can get them to that 3-year minimum with financials. Let's see if we can get them to those numbers that make sense for them to be a wonderful community member in your, business community. Another great side of this is we do bespoke programming for partners. So if you want to run an accelerator program solely based around food tech, we'll come run it, and we'll help find people around the world to come be in it. So those are the two main ways that we work with our economic development partners. And those are honestly very much the same ways that we work with foreign governments. Is we work with foreign governments to make a bilateral agreement or program to help bring technologies into the U.S. Because, let's be real, the TAM and SAM of Miramar isn't exactly huge.
John, as a corporate site location consultant, and you talked about the sectors that you think we would be competitive for, and you also identified the fact that our location is we're gonna grow just by virtue of that. Being in the middle of the southern tier, being in the middle of the NAFTA trade corridor. With that in mind, what kinds of companies would be attracted to Texas because of NAFTA? Or, USMCA.
Okay. Well, Texas is a premier place for foreign direct investment. Okay, its central location, which you're hitting at. Two industries I didn't mention: film and multimedia. The new film tax credits are creating jobs not just in major production like we're seeing in Bastrop, but also related software development. That's opportunities for even more rural areas. Okay, so that's an interesting dynamic. And for corporate headquarters, and for multinationals that want to be in a secure location in a pro-business state with a business-friendly tort system, Texas is really outperforming so many other parts of the country today.
Yeah, we finally got back into the film game, and I'm just amazed at how many productions I've seen in Austin in the last 6 months. And we went several years while the legislature was trying to determine whether they were going to fund that again. They decided to, and the movies are back, and that's a great thing.
I think $5 billion in wages
Yeah,
this year related to the new film tax credit.
yeah, awesome. Jennifer, quick question. I'm kind of curious. Multi-billion-dollar investment downtown. Tell us about that. Tell us about the impact that Magnolia and good old Chip and Joanna have had on Waco, Texas.
So we learned earlier this year that we were the #1 film tourism destination because of Fixer Upper and people wanting to come to Waco to see the shows or to see the houses that are on Fixer Upper. That has made a huge impact. But I would say take it a step further. They're one of our largest employers now. You mentioned bringing the media and film. They moved the headquarters for it. They took over the DIY network, and so now it's the Magnolia network. They moved its headquarters into downtown. They, have daily filming. They have all of it set up right there in downtown. So that energy has just created this awesome, everybody, you can just feel the vibe. You can feel the energy. Everybody's excited about everything that's happening. The city owns 100 acres in downtown, and so the city has been planning to activate that, and now we have moved forward. We have awarded for the development of that, and it's going to include housetops, it's going to include office space, it's going to include some vertical towers. It's going to be really exciting. Right alongside the riverfront, we have some professional sports leagues that we're talking to. So I think there's a lot to come.
So let me get this right. There's a Fixer Upper tour that you can take?
Yeah, there is. It's a Waco tour.
The Waco.
But they take you by all the houses.
They take you by all of the. Okay.
That's correct. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That sounds interesting.
But we would be remiss to not mention. I mean, they're not the only ones driving the tourism there, but they've definitely been a catalyst to pulling in. Baylor still has their families that are coming in. The alumni are coming in. Dr. Pepper Museum. Lots of other things. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I could go on a view. I had to mention that
you
one.
cannot forget about the Dr. Pepper Museum.
Dr.
Pepper.
That's right.
Yeah. And the Texas Ranger Hall of Fame.
Ranger Hall of Fame.
Is the Sports Museum?
Sports Hall of Fame
Sports
is there.
Hall of Fame.
Texas Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah. The City of Museums, right?
City of Museums. That's right.
Arlington,
all along the river that we're
Arlington
activating.
might take issue with that.
Okay.
So Carlton, I've known you for a few years now, and we're really appreciative for the work that you do for economic development for the future of Texas. Can you talk to us a little bit about the wins in the legislature last session and what you are most looking at in the upcoming sessions to continue this growth trajectory for the great state of Texas?
Well, in Texas, economic development is mostly a local endeavor. The funding, for the most part, is at the local level. We have a great marriage now between what is done at the local level and the governor's office of economic development. I don't think that that's ever been better in the last 30 years or so. The legislature has left us alone for the most part, and that's a good thing. We really do believe in limited government in Texas. I mean, it's something that people talk about, but it's true. It takes a long time to change things at the legislative level, generally speaking, and they've left us alone. And as long as they leave us alone and let us do our jobs at the local level, we're going to be, and again, based on all the other factors that, for example, John pointed out earlier, our natural advantages are going to come to the forefront. They leave us alone, let us do our jobs, and they have. We're gonna continue to do well. And I know that's kind of a weird way of saying it, but they are not. They are leaving us alone, and that's a great thing. Now they're also funding us. They're funding workforce development programs like they've never funded before. I mean, I remember when we would go over there and ask for half of what they're giving us now, and we'd have a hard time getting it. Now they're giving that to us, and they do recognize that workforce is the key for our long-term success. I would argue that if we simply had more people in other parts of the state, we would literally be doing better than we are now. We don't have enough people in rural areas that would be attractive for investment, but simply the bodies aren't there. So, it's been good. I hope I'm not jinxing myself by saying that it's been good. We have a session coming up. We're prepared for that, and I anticipate that we'll continue to do well.
Well, we appreciate all you do to maintain that level of, I guess, separation that's needed sometimes. Could you maybe talk a little bit about things like the Texas CHIPS Acts and Y'all Street and how these are going to greatly impact why companies are moving to Texas and why companies are growing in Texas?
Those are classic kinds of Texas initiatives, a pioneer initiative, a spirit that we seem to be able to tap every now and then. Every now and then we get frustrated about what may or may not be going on, but then we do wonderful things like Y'all Street, the Texas CHIPS Act, combined with the federal CHIPS Act, and we're going to continue to attract investment in the semiconductor industry. I mean, the two that we've gotten in the last couple of years are just massive. Samsung in Taylor, Texas, and then the one in Sherman with TI is, I think, 2 or 3 times as big as the Samsung facility in Williamson County. So we're gonna continue to compete on that level, but the competition is fierce.